Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to. On today's episode, we're talking about last night's AEW Dynamite with the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho. Larson's got a little something to say about that. We're also going to talk about some stuff in the news, including some comments about WWE trying to sabotage AEW. Larson, what's here? I'll take this one. So in the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, those other guys, Dave Meltzer talked about how WWE is leaking fast national ratings numbers in an effort to embarrass AEW. And these transcripts come to you via Wrestle Talk. Sunday, I start getting texts from people who are just like, did they really only do 122,000 viewers and 34,000 18 to 49 for Collision? This was a number supplied by WWE. And for those of you who feel like WWE isn't concerned with AEW or it's a one-sided thing, AEW is in a war with WWE. And, you know, it's a pro wrestling war, okay? These pro wrestling wars are insidious. They're brutal. Did you listen to, hold on, pause. Did you listen to these content? You actually listened to him saying this?
Yeah, I'll listen to the clip, yeah.
How much sarcasm or irony was in his voice when he said these things are insidious and brutal?
I didn't catch a whole lot, if any.
Maybe it's a dry sense of humor then. Anyways, continuing on. They're both in a public relations war. One side is obviously far more effective as far as getting news out there and controlling the media, a lot of the media, because they're afraid of not having access or whatever they're afraid of. WWE, obviously, whenever AEW has a badly rated show, WWE makes sure that the fast nationals get out. Now, in this case, I don't know how that number got out because that was not the fast nationals number for Collision. Again, the fast nationals are not exactly, but they're not far off. So just a little bit of context. The initial ratings report that gets put out there to the, I'm assuming to like the cable networks, about what the ratings are called fast nationals. And then later on, like in the day or the next day or something like that, the actual finals is what they're called. The final ratings report.
Yeah. And this is more so, we only really heard, it's interesting, I never heard the term fast nationals before until Rampage and Collision started airing.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And I think especially over the weekend when there's not next day ratings numbers because it's the weekend, I think that's predominantly when you get the overnight fast nationals.
Yeah, right.
And, you know, especially as it relates to Collision, you start seeing these numbers come out, the fast nationals, the day after. Mm-hmm. And they're generally a tad lower than the final numbers.
It's like usually within like 10%, I think.
Yeah, something like
usually.
That. So it's a snapshot, not the full picture of what you could expect from the ratings numbers. Now, I don't recall the exact numbers for Collision last week. They weren't great, but it was in 122,000. That's like Impact numbers.
It was close to like 350, I think.
Yeah.
It was either 350, 385.
That sounds right. It's under 400, I feel like.
Yeah.
So, you know, if the snapshot is generally roughly 10% off, this is off by about a factor of 3.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, I guess if WWE is trying to make an effort to embarrass.
Well, I'm kind of curious, and I'm not honestly like this seems like the kind of thing that is silly and small enough for Dave to have a decent idea.
Well, and who pays enough attention to this stuff that they see this and like, oh gosh, AEW's in the toilet now.
Okay,
you know
that's a whole other conversation. Yeah. But in terms of like the actual like, you know, leaking of this information, is this just a matter of, okay, well, who has the motivation to do it? You know, it's like because I think this information goes out to the various like cable networks, I'd assume, that's running this stuff, or the production companies that's doing
Possibly,
it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where the leaks are emanating from.
Because it's not like, you know, the producers of 90 Day Fiance have a bone to pick with AEW. So they're going to, you know, release these fast nationals when they look bad for AEW to certain people.
There's one obvious competitor that would have potential motivation to get these numbers out there in an attempt to embarrass AEW.
Right.
It's WWE.
Yeah, and then they leak them, and then people put them on their thumbnails, and
As if the sky is falling. Yes, I know. I know.
I was kind of, because we obviously know one, and we got referenced in one of their videos last week, which was actually pretty funny. But I was actually, it sort of made me chuckle that when I hopped on the YouTubes just this morning, and I just typed in AEW ratings, just how many videos there are, all with varying degrees of the success and the view counts.
Yeah.
People reporting, oh, let's take a look at these ratings. And because it's stupid, it's silly. And it's stupid and silly for WWE to do this. I don't know. None of it's going to make any sense. The thing that makes sense is the quality of the show. And because then there's a thing. And we talked about this yesterday during our WCW review. When the quality is there, when there's a general consensus about, hey, this is actually pretty compelling, then the ratings go up. People become interested. You see what's happening with NXT right now. Oh, wow, they got some cool shit going on. People will
got
clue in.
800,000 in the ratings this week.
I know. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Is the point? Number one, the idea that this is a wrestling ratings war is insidious and brutal. And what we're referring to here is releasing ratings.
That's only got a small fraction, a tiny fraction of wrestling fans are in any way interested in fast national numbers. That's the thing. You have CM Punk on WTV referencing things that happen in AEW, and it's crickets.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah,
either they don't know cares. Or they don't care.
Yeah,
and to get to such a small, a niche data point that isn't even accurate in terms of the overall viewership.
Yeah,
might be close, but it's not the final viewership. And to push that out there as the sky is falling for AEW, they're in the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this? It doesn't appeal to a wide portion of wrestling fans. People pick it up, they run with it, and I guess that's the idea: is it'll be picked up, it'll be run with, as in, oh, AEW's in trouble, and it sets a narrative.
Yeah,
especially now that WWE's on the ascent.
Yeah. You're exactly right. That's
what it is. But
that's
what
the mission is.
I know, but even then, a vast majority of wrestling fans don't really pay attention to that stuff. I don't feel like.
I think you're right. But it's it's the 1,000 cuts thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's let's do every little thing we can do to humiliate the other side. But it's when you have segments like what Chris Jericho was doing last night, that's kind of a bigger deal. That's kind of doing more than any ratings leak could do.
This learning tree crap is doing more damage to AEW than any fast national. That's turn off the TV stuff. It was this week.
Yeah. So what is he doing? Because up until this week, it's I don't even know how to describe what the character change is. Okay, I was trying to figure this out. So, for example, back in 2009 was when Chris Jericho was doing his slow talking thing. He had a clear inspiration he spoke on.
Yeah.
It was Anton Chigurh from...
Oh, the inspiration for this is CM Punk. It's the idea that CM Punk was back there giving advice to people. That's the inspiration for this.
Okay, yeah. But
at its core.
Sure, yeah. And we've picked up on that. Well, what's the actual performance motivation? Because he's not imitating CM Punk. He's imitating something.
To be obnoxious? I don't know.
Well, he's imitating something specific.
Yeah, no, I know. And I'm trying to place what that specific thing is because especially this week, because it was a very one note. And that's the thing about this.
It changed.
There has been a pivot.
Something different.
There's a pivot.
Here.
Yeah, this week it felt very different. It wasn't just, hey, sit there on a learning tree and learn about wrestling. It was I'm going to go out there in the most monotonous voice possible and tell people just because I've done this for X number of years, I'm an authority. It's like he stated at Holiday Inn Express. I'm an authority, therefore you listen to me. And it's...
So
it's nails on chalkboard.
yeah.
It is the most irritating garbage. It's one note. There's no depth or complexity. The only interesting thing about it is Brian Keith yelling at people.
Brian Keith is hilarious.
Otherwise, I don't want this on my television. If I could, I would turn Dynamite off for the duration of the Jericho segments. I cannot stand them. This needs to stop. I feel like it's actively pushing, anecdotally here in chat, people can't stand it. You might be pushing people away with this garbage. It sucks. Do something better.
Yeah.
For Jericho, get off TV. Do what you used to do best and leave.
So what's also funny about it is that, like, remember, like, I don't know, it was a month ago or so, maybe longer, when Dave Meltzer was talking about how Chris Jericho, he should be used better in terms of, this guy's a former world champion. He's a legend in the business. And for him to lose should be like a special event. To beat Chris Jericho should be a big deal.
Yeah.
With whatever this is, because it's, dude, at first I was like, he's acting, and I'm going to try to put this as delicately as possible, dude. But he's acting like somebody who, like, has suffered some sort of, like, brain trauma. You know what I mean? Like, he's talking really loud and, like, I don't know what it is. But then I was talking to Maggie, and she was like, he kind of comes off like an infomercial guy. And I was like, oh, wait a second. Is that it? Is he trying to be like Billy Mays? I can tell you how to scoop this. This is what you do. And I'm like, oh, wait a second.
It's not just the tone of voice or the quote unquote enthusiasm behind what he's saying. It's like how disingenuous he is with everything he says is so thick.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, there's no complexity. There's no subtext to any of this.
No, it's incredibly broad.
And one note and broad and boring. It's not funny. Nothing about this is fun, at least in my estimation, is funny. Because it's all the same joke over and over again. And the joke's not that good.
Yeah. Eric here in YouTube chat says he's like Eugene. It kind of feels like that. It's like a cross between that and Billy Mays or the ShamWow guy.
No,
like
Vince
I don't. What's that? Yeah, Vince Offer. What a great name. I don't know, dude. It's one of those things where at this point with this iteration of Jericho's character, and I don't know, who is this? Who said I make beats? Says y'all wanted him gone, now he's playing into it. Yeah, duh, I know. That's like it's dripping with resentment towards the fan base, and I kind of think that's the point of it.
I think so too. It's like the sense of entitlement. Mm-hmm. I'm Chris Jericho. I should be able to be on TV if I want to.
Right. Yeah.
And oh, you resent me being here? I'm going to lean into it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's clever. It ain't. It's go away heat to the utmost degree.
General says the sheer number of current AEW heels getting heat exclusively from trolling the audience is a real choice. Yeah. I don't. It's bizarre. And then next week, we've got a learning tree. TV time segment.
Yes.
Another one of those. Party. Yeah, with Private Party this time. Brian Keith is funny in those. Tell that baby to respect Chris Jericho.
Yeah, that's funny.
Maybe if you had more respect for Chris Jericho, your camera would be so shaky.
Yeah, him yelling at people is fun.
It is pretty funny. Yeah, that shit's funny.
But otherwise, this is just...
dude, it's also kind of like, man, here we go. Again, you know, if y'all want to think that, we're biased, go back and watch our reviews of WWE from 2019, and you'll get the exact same conversations back then. So all you AEW stands out there, I'm sorry, but whatever. Not actually sorry. It's sort of emblematic of AEW right now, where like, I look at Swerve and I just feel bad because I'm like, this poor dude is obviously putting so much effort into, man, it's my time now. I get to be AEW champion now. And it's like half the company doesn't even give a shit about the programming. It's like they just go out there to do their thing, and it's so segmented, and half of it is like decent. Mm-hmm. every once in a while you'll get a moment of inspiration, but so much of it is like, okay, let's just get to the pay-per-view. Let's just get to the match. Let's just get to whatever it is we're getting to, because TV seems like an obligation at this point. Oh man, we got to book another 5 hours. That's how it feels. That's how it feels. And then you always get good matches, right?
Yeah.
But like the main event last night, it was good.
Mm-hmm.
But like in terms of like trying, we talked about this yesterday in the AEW thing. It's like it's not good enough to, with all the competition out there, it's not good enough just to like try to get to the next thing. You gotta put some damn effort into it. And you see certain people like Swerve just trying to will it into being good.
And I think what they've been doing with Toni Storm and Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa, I think that's really good stuff. I mean, it's one of those times.
It's empty. Come on, it's empty.
I mean, they take Mariah's past with Mina and bring it into the present and tell a story about what's going on now. You know, and I mean, I personally don't feel like it's empty. I feel like Toni is clinging on to Mariah because she feels like she's gonna go back to Mina.
When I saw the closing bit last night where they're both like tugging on her, and I'm like, I don't know. It's so simple. It's just overly like just one note. Like the match is going to be good.
Yeah,
the match is going to be good, and there's funny stuff to be had from it to a degree. Like Mina's going overboard with the whole like, you know, bosom thing. Mm-hmm. But it's like that's the extent of it. There's nothing deeper there. It's just it's one note.
That's the state of much of AEW programming, I guess, in terms of one note. If you want to call it that, storytelling, this is probably some of the better stuff they got on TV right now. At least it's consistent and it's building.
Yeah. I don't know.
I get everybody's motivations.
We kind of differ on that one. Like I saw it and I was like, really? Like, I don't know. You think you see what's going on elsewhere, and it's like, man, there's like moments that really pop. There's like moments that I'm like, oh my God, wow, this is actually kind of compelling. And then you see that and it's like, God damn, the talent involved versus like how like people keep on saying, oh no, Mariah May is going to be, they're building Mariah May to be the one to take it off Toni Storm. And I'm like, I don't really see it. Like, because it's been sort of static this entire time. And then once you actually get some, like, you know, you and I always talk about like complexity of character.
Yeah.
And I don't see it. I don't see it in that particular feud. I just don't. If you do, right, great, but I don't see it. And that's when I see AEW, I'm like, man, they're just driving to the pay-per-view. They're just getting to the match.
That's what they've been doing for a while.
And it's like, it could be so much more. And that's the thing. It could be so much more.
I'm not disagreeing there. I'm just trying to find things that I liked about Dynamite last night because they were kind of few and far between.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Rush legitimately beat the shit out of MJF.
Yeah, but lose.
That'll be fun. That'll be fun.
Yeah, but lose. You know, I guess the thing
I'll definitely lose.
I've appreciated some about the Mariah May Toni Storm. I know it's a reference to All About Eve, but it seems like from the day Mariah May stepped foot in the company, they at least had a rough plan of where they wanted this story to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I see that they're following through on that rough plan.
Yeah.
And again, I'll take what I can get in terms of long-term, consistent storytelling from AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say this is, in my estimation, some of the better stuff on TV, that's what I'm talking about, is we give AEW crap for not having a plan for their stories.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
And this seems like one of those instances where, all right, this is what we want to do upon her arrival. Step by step, they've been more or less following through with that plan. And I could see the direction where they're going. I'm like, all right, they're trying to tell a long-term story here. I'm going to take what I can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it the most complex thing? Maybe not. But I'm going to take what I can get in terms of a story that's actually thought out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because so much of AEW ain't that.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's not. And so yeah, I don't know. I don't think you need like if you're WWE, just do your thing. I don't know.
You don't need to sabotage anything, man.
There's no need to do that. Like, They're just sort of doing it themselves.
No.
But then people are going to love this shit. You know, there's going to be that segment that are going to defend it vociferously. And that's cool. If you really enjoy it, then awesome. That's cool.
Exactly.
I feel like, I think the Willow stuff to me is a bit more, because like Willow's an actual complex character. Like if you want to take, and yes, they're both women's divisions, and I'm not just, saying woman to woman, but I'm just, somebody here in chat mentioned, Eastside mentioned Willow. And I'm like, okay, no, Willow's like a character that's got some complexity there. And I'm so glad they let her talk last night. And she was like, hey, usually I got this smile on my face, but you don't want to, it's like the old Hulk thing, you don't want to know me when I'm mad. And between that and what we saw with Statlander and Stokely, I'm like, oh man, that's actually pretty decent stuff right there.
Yeah, there's good stuff there too.
That's some pretty decent stuff right there. Because it's like they feel like actual characters and not just catchphrases.
Well, I mean, that's part of the thing about Toni Storm is, the based on her losses, she created this delusion in her mind that she's a Hollywood starlet, which the premise is really interesting. It's like, oh, she's so losing the title initially was such a blow to her that she couldn't stand it, that she created this alternate reality for herself. And sometimes we still get a little bit of that complexity in her, but yeah, a little too often it's catchphrasey stuff. I don't disagree with that. And whether Toni Storm is one of the most complex characters in AEW or not, she is consistently one of the more entertaining.
She is. No, that's the difference there between like her and Jericho, is that what she does, like the shit that she says, is incredibly clever stuff.
Yeah,
it is. I think that's why maybe I just expected a little bit more than, what we got last night, which just felt very sort of one note and broad.
I don't know. And maybe there is a concern about going too deep into Mariah and Mina's past, because it references stuff that happened in another company, a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. I don't know exactly how long ago it was. Like sometimes they don't mind getting really deep into the minutia of backstory. And sometimes, like with Eddie and Claudio, the story was all backstory pretty much. Mm-hmm, yeah. And they had video packages saying as much.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's I don't know why they wouldn't go into that level of depth with this. They just kind of allude to it and make references to it on commentary. Mm-hmm. But maybe if they gave us more backstory, it would flesh out some of this a bit more. I don't know.
Let's talk about Bryan Danielson. Because last night he had an impassioned promo where he talked about how he's acknowledging, hey, you know what? This is my last year doing this full time. And I keep on losing. All the big matches I lose. And the straw that broke the camel's back was Anarchy in the arena. And I lost there even. And so he's looking at the Owen Cup as his last best chance. Excuse me. To get to Wembley and challenge for the world title there.
Yes.
And so is this going to be more heartbreak in his last final year? Or is he just basically guaranteed that spot now?
I wouldn't be surprised if he got the match for the title. I would be surprised if he actually won, though. Bryan Danielson is probably one of the most selfless wrestlers around. And his motivation is simply not getting wins and certainly not getting championships. I'm sure he's had plenty of opportunities to win belts. Mm-hmm. He seems to be wanting to give of his fame, his popularity, his legacy to help build the future of AEW. Mm-hmm. And assuming Swerve gets past Will Ospreay, a Forbidden Door, and is champion walking into All In, and we get Swerve versus Danielson. If Tony Khan insisted that Sting win his final match, Sting's like, all right, cool. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want. Because that kind of seems to be Sting's attitude.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Like he'd be more than willing to put the Young Bucks over, but if Tony Khan insisted, he'd be like, all right, that's cool. Mm-hmm. Whereas I feel like Bryan Danielson would be like, nah, I ain't win. Nope. Doesn't matter. I mean, winning a title in the last days of his full-time career is a great moment.
Yeah.
But in terms of building the future of AEW, Swerve beating Bryan Danielson in the main event of All In is probably more impactful for the future of that company than him getting that moment and winning that title.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if he won the title at Wembley. There's still the Ospreay match, obviously Forbidden Door, but like, where are you in terms of like, that's Ospreay's gonna lose that match?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I hope.
Right.
I think so.
On the other hand, Ospreay in the main event is world champion against Bryan Danielson, beating Bryan Danielson.
But we just had that match.
We did just have that match.
And it was really good. It was really awesome.
Good. Yeah. But they could do that match again.
They could if they thought they could.
Because that match also has, it doesn't have an asterisk next to it, but it was a big story beat.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big story beat that they could revisit.
They could with the Tiger Driver, yeah.
With the Tiger Driver.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's all going to play out. I really don't. But yeah, I don't know. The matches are going to be good, Larson.
Well, they're always good. Always good. I mean, I don't know what it was. You know, so much of my enjoyment of wrestling, as I'm sure it is everybody else, is based on, you know, the mindset going into it.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You know, and a lot of times I don't have the luxury of being like, you know, I don't really want to watch AEW night. I'll watch it Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening or something like that. We got to watch it right away.
Yeah, right.
And I got about 2/3 the way through the show, and I just had to walk away.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't get through this right now.
2/3 of the show. What was the moment?
I don't think there was necessarily an anarchy in the arena for me. There wasn't a straw that broke the camel's back in this instance. It
wasn't a dude, because I remember distinctly. I always go back to this. It was the Shayna Baszler Lily thing. Like, I think it was like when I texted you, it was like, I can't do this. I get this Monday Night Raw, and then like having to watch this and then review it and try to bring any amount of entertainment or analysis with this raging headache because it's so bad. Yes. So remember that, AEW stands. There was a time when Raw was so fucking bad that we literally changed our programming schedule because of it.
And it wasn't as if Dynamite last night was bad. I wasn't invested in anything.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Bad. It's just it's not actively outwardly bad like a lot of WWE.
No, it's not. It's not. It doesn't make you infuriated.
No. Except for the Jericho stuff. That makes me actively upset. That makes me want to put a fist through my computer monitor when I'm watching it. I cannot stand it. But it wasn't even one of those segments that I after that I had to walk away. It was right before the Young Bucks talked to the patriarchy. It was because there was like a couple stretches of the show where it's just all talk and stuff. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't really setting up much of anything. You know, or at least anything intriguing.
Yeah, okay. So yeah.
I need a break. Time out.
So you're right. So we had like the Blackpool Combat Club versus CMLL guys.
Yeah, and then there was the Learning Tree bit. There was the Garcia video package, which was really good.
That was really good.
There was a couple of video packages last night that were really good. And then you got the Acclaimed confronting the Young Bucks. And you go to commercial and come back, and it's the Young Bucks with the patriarchy again. I'm like, I need to walk away. This is just too much talky stuff right now. I just need to walk away.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I did. I walked the dog. I went to bed. Mm-hmm. Got up this morning, got my pump on.
Hop right back into it.
And finished it because I had to. Pretty much. I really wanted to watch Swerve and Roddy.
Yeah, it was a good match.
And you know, I saw some clips last night from the Mariah May, the Seraya match. I was like, okay, there's story happening there, so I need to check that out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, if it wasn't for those two things, I'd been like, I mean, I have to watch it, but as a wrestling fan, sometimes clips are fine, you know?
No, I agree. I mean, I think that, you know, you can look at a number of things from a fan's perspective, and it's like, you know, part of our business is covering, you know, Dynamite, because that's where the shit's supposed to happen in AEW.
It's where the best wrestle, Steve.
Well, that's where AEW. We don't watch two-thirds of it. We don't watch Collision. Well, we watch Collision. We just don't talk about it much. And then Rampage, I always forget about. Did you see the lineup for Rampage this week?
I saw Mina versus Serena Deeb.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Phoenix. I'm sorry. Is it Phoenix or Pentagon? One of them dudes versus the Butcher. Penta versus the Butcher.
What's motivating that?
It's where the best wrestle, dude. And then you have the Acclaim versus the Bang Bang Gang.
I thought they finished that feud.
Me too.
I thought the Acclaim were feuding with the Young Bucks now.
Same.
Why are they revisiting the Bang Bang Gang thing?
Your guess is as good as mine, cuz.
Is Juice Robinson going to wrestle?
It says it's in tag action, so I think that means 2-on-2. So
Yeah, I guess otherwise they'd specify trios, huh?
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't get it either. Anyways, what do you think of MJF's jacket, dude?
I mean, it's fine.
It's a new thing.
Yeah.
Leather jacket.
He's getting away from the suits and the scarf.
Have you ever worn a leather jacket?
Yes, not like that though.
Was yours a duster?
No, absolutely not. You think I
I'm
could pull
so
that off?
disappointed. I think you could probably rock a duster, dude.
No
Come
way.
on, look at you. You look like you could be a sheriff in the Old West.
But this isn't the Old West, Steve.
You're over their shit. Lawless.
No, no. I got it for a Christmas gift. I got like
A Christmas.
like
got you?
a bomber jacket style.
Oh, okay. Bomber jacket. There you go.
But I don't wear it very often.
Aviators with that shit, man.
Yeah.
I could
No,
see
I
you being
don't.
a flight instructor.
You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a pilot.
Not quite Maverick.
Absolutely
that dude,
not.
that dude doesn't age, man.
No.
Anyways, MJF.
I know. What do you think?
up.
What do you think about MJF's leather jacket?
It's like too big for him. He criticizes physiques a lot. It's like, granted, he's in good shape.
Yeah, he's in really good shape. Yeah.
Like, maybe emphasize, but he's like, you know.
You know, the one thing about, I guess we can just launch right into the promo, is one thing that, one wrestling trope that I'm kind of tired of is when someone comes out and says, I'm putting the locker room on notice.
Yeah, right.
And that's basically the first thing he said.
How does he get this dude? Hey, he's really trying to heat check, talking shit about Will Ospreay.
But
You
here's
want
the thing.
to be careful with that, buddy. You want to be careful with that.
When he said I'm here to put everyone on notice, it was with the bare minimum of enthusiasm. It felt like, you know what I mean? If it wasn't like, I'm here to put the locker room on notice. It went, I'm here to put the locker room on notice.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm not. I don't know. It's not. When someone says that, I'm not invested in it just because too many people say that. It's just a wrestling trope that I'm kind of tired of.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Who do the AEW stands love more, Ospreay or MJF?
Oh, wow.
Right?
I mean, you hear the reactions that Will Ospreay gets at those shows.
He's very lovable.
He probably gets the loudest pops in AEW right now.
I think he does. Yeah.
So it might very well be Will Ospreay at this
I
point.
think it's Ospreay. He comes off as so like purely in love with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he doesn't need an ankle tattoo.
He comes off as very relatable. He just comes across as a dude that just happens to be the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And you would think that would just be kind of bland, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
He does need a better catchphrase, though, Will Ospreay.
What, then bruv?
No. I am Will Ospreay, and I'm on another level. It's like,
Is that his
that's how he
actual catchphrase?
I mean, he punctuates a lot of promos with that.
Oh, no. Bruv, that's his thing. People love
Oh,
that.
I know that's the thing, but he doesn't. That's not part of his punctuation of his promos.
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
If Larson had a catchphrase that was, I'm and Larson and blank.
I'm a one-born son of a bitch.
Oh, wow. Jeez, you're so harsh on yourself today. Anyways, I thought it'd be something like, and I'm so tired.
Well, is that any more exciting?
And I'm ready for a nap.
And I'm ready for a nap. And I can't stand the learning tree.
Yeah, there you go.
That would get a pop from the crowd, probably.
So let's see here. Oh, Rob says that's been his catchphrase for a few years now. Bruv got over organically.
Yeah. I get
Bruv's a good one.
Bruv. I get why that's over. I just feel like to punctuate promos, if that's this thing, that I'm on another level. It needs to be a little.
What would you suggest? Give me an idea.
Well, you put me on the spot. I haven't really thought about it. The part that I don't really like it, so it's not bad. But his promos are so good and so enthusiastic. There's such urgency to it.
Yeah.
And then it's just a little bland. That's it. It's just a little bland.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know
stuff.
what else it'd be.
Anyways, MJF comes out to open up Dynamite and says a lot. He says, my eyes look a little bloodshot because we're in Colorado, baby.
Why is Colorado the state where people always make the weed jokes? I understand it. I mean, was it one of the first states?
I think it was like the first one to legalize it. Yeah. And so
that was a while ago. A lot of states have legalized it since.
Oh, dude, yeah, but they're holding on to that status.
I guess so.
It wasn't Oregon first or Washington? I feel like the Pacific Northwest has more of a claim to the weed thing.
Pro weed agenda.
Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know.
Here, I'll look it up.
Anyways. Weed, which really should be legalized nationally. Come on.
Oh, absolutely.
All the benefits of weed. Anyways, he says, I'm back.
Guess what? According to this, let's see. Hold on. It says in 1996, California became the first state to enact.
Well, that's probably medicinal, though.
Yeah,
that's probably medicinal. We're talking about recreational. I don't want a doctor's note for this shit. Where was the first dispensary?
Okay, so in 1973, Oregon was the first state to decriminalize cannabis.
Did they recriminalize it or something?
I don't know.
Look up this. When was the first United States weed dispensary? And for recreational. Anyways, he says, I was sitting at home watching a bunch of children make a bunch of bold claims on my show. I've one guy saying he's the rainmaker, and then he criticizes Okada's physique.
Oh, so Colorado was the first state to legalize recreational marijuana in 2014.
Boom, there we go. That's why they're chanting weed. He says, one guy saying he's the rainmaker. Made a lot of money, huh? That's funny because every time I see his physique, it's apparent that guy can't even afford a gym membership. There's another guy making a bunch of bold claims. In fact, he was swerving around and he was claiming he was the leader of the Mogul Embassy. You're a hell of a leader. Your group turned on you. But that's not the part that offended me. The part that offended me was where you referred to yourself as a business school. But Swerve business moguls tend to go to business school, and if you did, you must have skipped your public speaking course. So he's talking shit about Swerve's mic skills. Oh, so 0 for 2 right now? Rainmaker, miss. Because Rainmaker's...
Just tepid trash talk.
Rainmaker's up, MJF. Anyways, but you can't teach that. He says, that's not the most egregious claim. That was from a Cockney cockhead walking around saying, I'm the best in the world, bruv. And then the crowd starts chanting bruv because they love Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
Says, so that's interesting, Willie, because last time I checked, you're not Chris Jericho, John Moxley, Cody Rhodes, Samoa Joe, Bryan Danielson, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, Hiroshi Tanahashi. But you know who managed to beat everyone on that list? I did. He said, next time you want to come on my show and lie through those disgusting yellow stained teeth of yours, watch your tone and check your mouth. Because Silly Billy ain't the best in the world, bruv. I am. I'm the guy who did the impossible. I became the man, the face of AEW. I created some of the greatest matches, moments, interviews in the history of the sport. I became the most hated man to walk this planet, only become the most beloved, and that don't happen by accident. Imagine how I felt when I got home to heal from my wounds from carrying this place, and people have the audacity to smear my name. A revisionist trying to revise my legacy, revise my name. And then he's interrupted by Roosh. And he does the old bad guy, foreign heel guy thing and says, these filthy, ugly Americans, you never shut up. Listen to me. While you've been gone, I've been working hard. Now you come back and get a big celebration. Yeah, go ahead and look this one up. Go ahead. I did last night.
Carry on.
Because I thought the exact same thing.
Like, Roosh, you've been out with injury for a while.
He was out virtually the same amount of time.
Yeah.
He was in the Continental Classic, I think got injured, and then came back.
He had a hamstring injury, yeah.
I think he came back in April. He's had 3 AEW matches since then.
See. He had a match on Collision on April 27th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, yeah. But he was gone
Came back
since
about
December.
a month before.
Yeah.
MJF.
So, anyways, he says, "Where's my celebration? Where's my big moment?" Which is a good point, though. You know,
Yeah.
when he came back in April, he should have had a big celebration, a big moment. He says, "I deserve your spots. Now I'm going to take it because when you mess with the bull, you get the horns." So MJF says he claims not to have heard any of that. He says, "Not your fault. No offense. When Tony Khan was running this place, it was pretty rough. But now that the Young Bucks are running it, it's gotten worse. I think Brandon Cutler is running the production truck." Basically, he tries to get Roosh to repeat what he said just so MJF could say, "We don't give a shit. You come out here in your dime store suit and making your bank account look real dry like every woman you ever slept with. Oh, wow, I took that too far. I'm so edgy. I know who you are, brother." At one point, and he puts him over. He says, "I paid you an exorbitant amount of money to take out Bryan Danielson. I know how talented you are. You come from wrestling."
Reference something that happened in the past.
Yeah. "You come from wrestling royalty. Your father's a lucha libre legend." He says, "Some might call you a Nepo baby. Not for me. Not me. I wouldn't say that. But you prove that's not the case when you sold out arenas all over Mexico." He says, "You came to the U.S. in a record time. You became a Ring of Honor champion. You came to AEW, bludgeoned some of the best the sport has to offer. But I'm not one of the best. I'm the best. But out of respect for you, I want to tell you how you interrupting me made me feel, and make sure nothing gets lost in translation." So he says, "Fuck your mom" in Spanish, which I was kind of shocked that like TBS would be cool with that, but you know. And then Roosh runs to the ring. They brawl. Security comes out to break it up.
Along with Christopher Daniels.
With Daniels, yeah. Well, yeah, he's like he's got a job there now.
Yeah.
He's
I mean, he's always had a job there, but on camera job, yeah.
No, he was fired. He hasn't always had it. He was fired and then he was rehired.
Steve.
That's the story,
You could
Larson.
explain something you called kayfabe. Send it to my learning tree. I'll teach you the ways of the pro wrestling world.
I hazard to say, not to blow smoke up your ass, your learning tree would probably be a lot more compelling than Chris Jericho's.
Hopefully not as obnoxious. So we got this really good Roderick Strong video package where he's training with Kingdom.
Hey, I like this. Is really well filmed.
This was really well done. So he's running steps up a hill or something. He's talking about having to climb mountains and, facing adversity, so on and so forth. Really well shot. Roderick's narration was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
It was this and the Daniel Garcia video packages were both really good last night.
Really good.
This type of stuff I like because, hey, they're introducing us to them as characters, giving us some backstory. More of this, please.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said earlier, the Garcia thing was really strong too.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
I mean, so much of what Garcia does now, on camera is, and it's funny, is the dance stuff. When he's doing it to the rhythm of Shibata chopping somebody, it's funny. Doesn't exactly make him a three-dimensional character like this video package did.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to see more of. Anyways, really good Roderick Strong video package. After that, we had a four-way match to determine Will Ospreay's next challenger for the International Championship next week on Dynamite. It was Orange Cassidy versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Jay Lethal versus Ray Phoenix. Really, really good match.
Good.
Based on the competitors, you know exactly who's taking this pin, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the only question is, was Orange Cassidy or Ray Phoenix going to win? Because Kyle O'Reilly just lost an international title match on Collision. You knew he wasn't going to win.
Yeah, right.
You knew Jay Lethal was eating that pin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ends up, it was Ray Phoenix who got the win.
Be a good match.
It was a fun match. So Jay Lethal's looking for a figure four on Ray Phoenix. Phoenix rolls that up. Rolls him up to get the win. So he's celebrating ringside. He leaves. Then Trent walks down the ring with Don Callis. He gets in the ring. He takes off his coat. While he's doing that, Don Callis slides a chair in the ring. So Orange gets to his feet and gets on the apron, about to get in the ring, but he stops. He drops down, grabs a chunk of chain from under the ring, gets in. And so once Don Callis sees this, he's like, "Oh, Trent, we can't attack him now." So he tries to back him off.
Mm-hmm.
So Statlander slides in and is pleading with Orange Cassidy to stop. And then off camera, we hear Stokely talking. It says, "Chris Statlander is going to put her boots so far up your ass, you'll be coughing up shoe leather." Mm-hmm. So then Statlander punches Orange Cassidy. And Orange did a great job of not just selling the impact of the punch, but the emotional impact of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so Willow's music hits. She runs to the ring. Statlander takes her leave, and her and Stokely go up the ramp. Oh,
Yeah,
hell.
no, I thought that was good stuff. I thought that was good stuff. Shit, I was gonna say something. No, I forget what it was. I apologize. I was gonna take a quick pause here because I noticed the Rob Observer's all over our live chat right now.
Hi, Rob.
Pointing out that the lower here said Pro Wrestling News 6664. So apparently we had
Did you just want to get 3 6s in there?
I guess maybe subconsciously. I didn't realize I had done that. I went and changed it. The devil. El Diablo. But we got to point this out, dude. The Rob Observer has been putting together these amazing edits, compilations of our old Smash Zone videos we used to do, our old Smash Zone streams we used to do with the Enforcer. These were some of the best days, some of the best moments here in the Friendo Club at Going in Raw. These things were so much fun to do. We would be laughing our asses off, hanging out with the Enforcer, hanging out with the Friendos on Twitch. None of this YouTube copyright content ID bullshit. Over there on the Twitch, where it's the Wild West, and a leather duster would be absolutely appropriate if you're a content cop. Because anything went over there. Still does. But we stopped doing them because we lost the Enforcer, and it just isn't the same. So the Rob Observer has been putting in all sorts of hours editing these things together on its own exclusive channel, and they are absolutely a joy to watch. They're so much fun. So much fun. And if I'm not mistaken, Rob, what's the I think it's youtube.com/SmashZoneTV. It might just be Smash Zone. I'm trying to look it up right now. Smash Zone. Anna, if you just go to honestly, if you just go to, so it's at Smash Zone Vault on YouTube. But if you just go to YouTube and type in Smash Zone, the channel's there. And honestly, like, these things are just so wonderfully put together.
They are.
And they're hilarious. And it's a snapshot of some of the best stuff, some of the most fun stuff we've done.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So yeah, check that out. Go check it out. While you're doing that, hit that subscribe button, hit the notify bell, and hit that little like button. Looks like a thumbs up because it helps Going in Raw here on the channel.
Very much does. It very much does.
Big reminder, dude. Big reminder. We are in the month of champions right now. Master Kira 89 putting their Big Blue predictions title on the line. I think a lot of people might forget that Battleground is part of the predictions this month.
Yes.
So make sure, if you are a Friendo Club Setup member right now, head to either patreon.com/Stephen Larson or go to the members tab here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson and fill out your predictions form for Battleground. It's the first of 3 events, and we're doing them all as one thing. Mm-hmm. Make sure you get your Battleground. Larson, I predict, my prediction, a lot of people are going to sleep on Battleground and lose those points. I shouldn't even be saying anything right now. I should just quietly.
Your own chances. Yeah.
I know. I should just be quietly filling out my predictions form for Battleground. Why a bunch of the friendos are out there snoozing on it, but no, I gotta be a good guy, Steve.
Yeah.
And remind you guys.
Yeah.
Get your Battleground predictions in so that you get those points, so you have a chance at Big Blue. And if you're not part of the Friendo Club setup and you're like, whoa, predictions challenge, count me in. 2 ways to do it. Click join right here at youtube.com/Stephen Larson. You'll also get access to our bonus episodes, or you can go to patreon.com/Stephen Larson, click on the Friendo Club setup. Either way, it's $5 a month. You get access to the bonus episodes, question threads, and the Big Blue predictions challenge.
Yep. Right now, we only have 64 responses to this form. It's put up last night. It's up right now on Patreon for YouTube channel members. Submissions close 4 o'clock Sunday afternoon. So you got time, but don't just think, oh, I got time, I'm not going to worry about it, because what happens then? Other stuff comes up.
Other stuff. Life happens, dude.
Life happens. And now, especially with not just prop bets, but confidence points on prop bets. If you miss one show, that's a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
If you got the Friendo Club set up, get your picks in now.
Get your picks in, man.
Don't delay. Anyways, we got to talk about this goddamn learning tree bullshit now.
Hold on. We can put it off for a second because we have a couple super chats here. Carson Gillis here says the what chants during Rush's promos are so annoying. It's just disrespectful. I can't stand that shit.
I can't stand the what chants.
Stand that shit.
Stop
Mr. Dope here gifted a membership to the community. Clown got that gift membership. Thank you, Mr. Dope. We appreciate it. And then High Plains Drifter here with the $10 super chat says Larson secretly a sapling of the learning tree. We're about to find out. And then Scott Woodford here has been a friend.
I don't know if I've ever felt more insulted by that insinuation.
Wow. Highest insult. Scott Woodford here, been a member for 11 months, says happy Thursday, and I hope everyone is doing well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Doing all right. All right, now, so Learning Tree shows up the arena. Get out of an SUV. And then Jericho just starts giving everybody, like, unsolicited advice. Hey, driver, make sure you come to a full and complete stop every time you drive. Thanks, driver. And he says to the cameraman, your work's been a little shaky. Here, hand me the camera. I'll show you how to frame Bill and Brian Keith. You can use a bit more practice. Why don't you follow us as we walk inside? And that's it. That's what he does for the rest of the show.
Yeah. And then Big Bill says, look, it's a beautiful day. The sun is out. And then Brian Keith yells at the cameraman, says, if you have more respect for Chris Jericho, you wouldn't have that shaky-ass camera.
Which is one good line in the whole thing.
It made me laugh. After that, we had a Willow Nightingale interview. Renee's like, where's your head at? And she's like, I'll be the first to face the facts. I lost. Mercedes is now the TBS champion. So congratulations are in order, but one day there's a score to settle. She knows that I had her shoulder pinned for an 8 count. Only if it weren't for my friends. Stokely, I wouldn't trust as far as I could throw him. But Chris, I would have trusted her with my life. And she betrayed me. I always talk about this smile. I'm driven by my smile. It's my strength. Then she drops the smile, says, but after being stabbed in the back, you don't know how dangerous I can be. And then Willow steps in and gives her one of his little fist bumps, and she genuinely seems taken aback by that. She's like, oh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she knew that was going to happen.
Then we have Christopher Daniels come out just to announce a match.
Yeah. He was like, remember how we said we're going to do qualifiers? Well, Tony Khan just wrote this into the show right now. So we're going to do a qualifier right now.
Felt like,
this was their Regal versus Malenko moment where
maybe we need some time to finish the show up. So we got Mark Briscoe versus Brian Cage, qualifier. You had Takeshita watching the match with Don Callis up in the crowd. Then you had Jack Perry watching backstage. Briscoe gets the win here. Not a surprise because Brian Cage doesn't win very many matches. Briscoe hits a DVD, follows with a froggy bow to get the win. Then we cut backstage to Jack Perry. And he says, congrats, Mark Briscoe. You've qualified for the TNT title ladder match. In the end, what's it going to matter? I've already proven that no one is willing to sacrifice more than me. Tony Khan can try to screw me over all he wants because I've already proven that I can't be stopped. The universe has already chosen in one way or another. I am the next TNT champion.
I think that's going to happen too.
Seems likely.
Yeah.
They should really. Like. But if it doesn't, gift Jack Perry the real World's Championship.
I'm telling you, that'd be such a good idea. That'd be so rad. After that, we had a Samoa Joe and Hook interview. Renee asked Joe if he's Hook's mentor. He's like, I wouldn't call this a mentorship. But then he's interrupted by Tony Nese and Ari Daivari. And Nese says, after all these years, he's talking about Hook eating chips.
Funyuns.
Oh, were they Funyuns? Oh, I didn't know.
Funyuns, yeah.
Oh, nice. So you're a yay Funyuns guy?
I don't mind Funyuns. I don't buy them, but if they're there, I won't turn them down.
It's hard to turn them down, especially the texture. It's very crunchy.
It is very crunchy, but light.
Right. Airy. He says, after all these years, you think you stop eating this crap and you start taking things more seriously. And Hook says, after all these years, you're still losing matches. It was a good funny comeback. It's a good comeback. Knee slaps the chips out of his hands. A little bit of shit talk. Joe holds Hook back and he says, hey, guys like that don't talk to killers like us unless they know they're going to get away with it. And judging by all that extra security around here, guess they knew what they were doing. We'll handle that, but on our time. I really hope Joe's new thing of like, okay, listen, we're going to do this, but on our time is just he's a procrastinator now.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like Hook's like, gosh, they just slapped me in the face. Shouldn't we go fight them? No, it's going to be in our time.
On our time. You know, April 14th rolls around. Dude, did you get your taxes done? Oh, no. IRS can wait. My time.
Yeah. Guys
going
like
to get penalized.
File taxes in our time.
He's
file
like,
an extension at least.
No, my time. I haven't filed.
My time, yes.
Listen, Hook. Listen, I haven't filed since 2021. All right.
Not that I'm not going to. I'm just gonna do it on my time.
I'm just gonna do it on my time.
So then we have the learning tree again. They walk up to Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, and Jericho again says, "Yeah, you two, after sitting on the learning tree, your careers and personal lives are better than ever." And then Jericho starts giving Menard pointers for commentary. Daddy Magic tells him to shove it up his ass. Jericho then starts giving Parker some parenting advice.
Mm-hmm.
And then they walks away. And then Brian Keith says, "Make sure that baby respects Chris Jericho." Again, the one funny line in the whole thing.
Yeah, it was good. Good. After that, we had an Acclaimed promo, or at least the beginning of one. Caster starts to rap. He dedicates that rap to the Young Bucks. But then they cut his mic and they show up on the Tron. Matt says, "Didn't you read the company handbook? It says don't disparage your EVPs. So unfortunately, we're not going to be hearing from the Acclaimed. We're not going to be seeing them either. Now clear the inside of the ring area. Let's have a great show." And then the Acclaimed go backstage to confront them a little bit later.
Yep. But first, you got a Swerve interview. So Renee asks, how you feeling ahead of your match against Roderick Strong? He says, "First of all, welcome back, MJF, you little bitch. You finally show up to work. You mentioned my name to deal with you, and not in the way that you're going to like. Second of all, right here, I got a contract from the main event of Forbidden Door signed by yours truly." He turns to Prince Nana, says, "I'm going to need you to send this to Will Ospreay." Says, "Tonight, the title match against Roderick Strong. You talk about climbing mountains, getting knocked down again. You got to understand that you're dealing with the mountain of pro wrestling. I'm letting you know that after I knock you off it, I'm going to bury you under it. You want to know what's on my mind? It's those damn EVPs. I had to witness them win Anarchy in the Arena double nothing against Team AEW. I was rooting for you guys. You assembled a great group of talent. Be part of that team, but make sure next time you assemble Team AEW, you don't forget the world champion."
He had a match that day already.
He did have a title match, yeah.
He's
seemingly willing to wrestle twice.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's like, "Christian Cage, easy work. I could have been in Anarchy in the Arena too. Back-to-back matches.
Yeah. Could
have done it." Anyways, after that, we had a video package for Mercedes Moné and Stephanie Vacure. And it's going to be title for title. So Stephanie Vacure is going to be... Why do I sound like I'm saying that name wrong? Is that how you say it?
I think so, or close to it.
Okay. It sounds weird. Is going to be the new TBS champion and strong champion, right, Larson?
Spilled water on myself. What are you talking about? Mercedes is winning, but it's going to have both those titles.
All the confidence points on that one.
Yeah. Come on now. In the video package, Rocky says they literally created this title for Mercedes. The New Japan Strong one. Come on.
Vacure.
After that, we had Blackpool Combat Club versus Team CMLL. Take a guess who won this one, Steve.
What?
Wheeler Yuta won this one. You're right.
Sleep won this one because, look, man, there's nothing about this match that I was like, oh man, like it was just a match. It was just a match. Like the CMLL stuff has nothing behind it. Nothing. Vacare.
I've heard it pronounced different ways. So,
well, I'm not gonna have to worry about it after Forbidden Door. Yeah, dude. Wheeler Yuta got the pin here after he's been gone for 4 months.
Yeah, apparently he's dealing with like concussion issues.
Yeesh. Yeah.
Yeah, he pinned Ruhido after hitting him with an Olympic slam and then put on the seatbelt. It was an enjoyable bout, but it was just an enjoyable bout.
Yeah, it was a breezy cross-promotional exhibition, a friendly, if you will.
Yeah. After that, we get the learning tree at catering, and Jericho walks up to some dude and says, "You don't know how to scoop chicken and dumplings? Let me show you how to scoop chicken and dumplings." And he scoops chicken and dumplings in the dude's plate.
I was hoping that they would reference a bit more of that old video that we watched on Smash Zone of the dude, sort of the viral one, the guy.
At the buffet.
Yeah, the buffet. What's the weather like out there?
He's the
Pretty
at the
good.
meat station.
Yeah. Too much to ask, I guess.
Then we got a Daniel Garcia video package. This is really good, talking about coming up as a wrestler in Buffalo, the car accident he got into where he broke both his legs, and wondering if he'd even walk, much less wrestle ever again.
Yeah.
Good
I saw some discourse on Twitter about Garcia. It's like, man, how much damage do you think was done by botching that? Oh, is he a wrestler or a sports entertainer guy? Because it seemed like it was so, like, it seemed like it kind of derailed him to just sort of like, they just sort of puttered that out like, no, I'm a Jericho guy, I'm a sports entertainer guy. And then they went hard on the dancing stuff.
Yeah. Then we're backstage. The Acclaimed are confronting the Young Bucks. So Matt says to the Acclaimed, we're slammed. No more meetings today. And Bowen's like, we're not here to talk. But there'll come a time when we're going to be face to face. And at some point, and you're not going to like what happens.
Yeah, I thought just for like a small backstage thing, I thought this was pretty good. It was the cameras behind them. It seemed
short.
impromptu.
Yeah, it didn't overstay its welcome. It got to the point, and that's it. So then now we go to commercial. We come back, and the Young Bucks are in their office. Patriarchy walks in. Christian says, I can only trust you guys to make the right decisions. You're the EVPs. Says, I was screwed out of the AEW title after I carried this company for the past year, and I deserve to have gold. He asked for another title shot, and Matt says, look, we love you to death. If we had it our way, you'd have a belt, and you'd have a belt, and you'd have a belt. But we tried that with Jack Perry, and Christopher Daniels screwed it all up. But we still have some pull, so if you guys continue scratching our back, we'll continue scratching yours.
Yeah. Then we had Mariah May versus Seraya. Tony Storm joined commentary. Kind of went hard on this stuff earlier, but I really do love Tony Storm. I think she's great. So I think she's really great. It's just I think that it could be more. It could be more. I don't even. It's one of those things where I don't even know how to describe it necessarily. I just feel like it could be more substantial, and it seems like it's boiled down to like a single note.
Yeah, it's very much. I mean, I don't disagree that it's they've kind of
it's undercooked
a bit. It's the essence of what could be a really good story with some dimension, And like I said, I've been into it simply because it seems like they had a plan and they're following through with the plan.
And Tony is so goddamn
Tony's
great. Yeah, she really is.
And like Mariah May has been like, she puts on good matches consistently. She's a really good wrestler.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And this match was fun, and I'm curious to see. I mean, I have an idea of how the match is going to play out at Forbidden Door. It's like, all right, who's Mariah May really going to be loyal to? And I get that. That's the story.
Yeah.
But again, it seemed like something they laid the groundwork on and are following through. So, like I said, I'm going to take what I can get from that respect.
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. I can appreciate that for sure. And yeah, I mean, maybe it's got to be. Maybe that's just how it's got to be. That's why we talk about this shit all the time with AEW. Anyways, let's see here. So, Mariah May versus Seraya.
Mariah loses. It was interesting at the end because Soraya's got her in her submission hold. I don't remember if that's called nightcap or if that's the DDT deal. And at first, she's at commentary and she stands up and she's pleading with Mariah to not tap. And then Mariah looks at her. And then Tony's like, you can't stay in that for very much longer. And so May submits. And then Tony runs in the ring to check on her. And while she's doing that, she gets attacked by Seraya and Harley Cameron. So that's when Mina comes out to make the save. She takes out Harley and Seraya, checks on Mariah, and then smiles at Tony. And then they get in each other's faces and they start bumping chests.
Yeah.
And then Mariah gets between them and kind of embraces them both.
Yeah. Yep. After that, we had the Learning Tree backstage again. They walk up to Private Party. Jericho saying, let me give you some advice. You should open up your party to everybody. Your name should be Public Party. And then Cassidy's like, look, respectfully, you're a legend, but no thanks. No disrespect. And Keith says, disrespect. No one's coming to a lame-ass party anyways. And then Jericho says, I'm going to help you get something you need. More TV time. And then he invites him to his segment, TV Time, next week on Dynamite. I know you're very much looking forward to that, Larson.
We're going to get a 12-minute long talkie segment of Jericho being obnoxious is going to lead to a match that Private Party is going to lose.
Yeah.
Then we got the Bryan Danielson promo. He says, "What a blessing this is, seeing someone like you to return after 6 months, and he's the one to get the win. I couldn't be prouder of him. As for myself, it was about 8 months ago. I told everyone that it was my last year as a full-time wrestler, but it hasn't been what I wanted. I fought for the TNT title and lost. I made it to the semis of the Continental Classic and lost there. I lost to Okada at the Tokyo Dome. Every big match I've lost. The straw that broke the camel's back was losing at Anarchy in the Arena. I was talking to Wheeler about how fired up he was to come back, and I realized my last year as a full-time wrestler isn't over yet. And when Tony Khan announced the winner of the Owen Cup gets a title shot at Wembley, I got fired up. This might be my last shot, but it's going to be the best shot I've had the entire year. I'm going out on top."
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Forbidden Doors, I think, is going to be setting up a lot of stuff for the next year of AEW's programming.
Yeah.
Let's see here, and then we had our main event: Roderick Strong versus Swerve Strickland. Boy, this is good stuff.
It was a really good match.
Yeah,
really good match. Swerve wins. Not a huge surprise. He's not losing that title.
Nope.
On Dynamite. Hopefully not a Forbidden Door either. Roddy's working Swerve's leg throughout early on. Of course, working the back. That's what Roderick Strong does. Finish sees them trade shots on the apron. The Swerve sweeps out Roddy's legs, hits the slingshot stomp, sends Roddy to the floor. He puts Roddy back in the ring, looks for a house call. Roddy evades that and looks for the jumping knee, but Swerve catches it. He dumps Roddy on the mat, hits house call to get the win.
Mm-hmm.
Really good stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff here. Anyways, let's go ahead and open this up to some questions. Larson, what do you say?
Chris Stanton says, "Can you give us your favorite and least favorite things about the current WWE and AEW products?" So first, what is your favorite thing about the WWE product?
Oh, wow. Where to start? I would say my favorite thing about the current WWE. Like, do we get specific? How specific are we supposed to get?
I'll give you my answer. It's the attention they give to developing characters. That's what I like most about WWE's product.
All right, so I'm going to get a little bit more obtuse, as you like to say, abstract perhaps.
Nebulous, maybe.
There you go. Mine is the way, once a story actually gets started, because sometimes it takes a while, Triple H revs that engine for a little ways. But once a story hits that sweet spot, by God, they know how to pay it off. And I think like when you think about like Drew McIntyre getting cashed in at WrestleMania, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. But it seems to happen on a regular basis. The way they're able to take these moments and turn them into what you're talking about, crafting characters. 2 months ago with Chad Gable, I was like, look, I respect that he's got the ingredients, but they really haven't put it together with the story. Now, this dude is compelling as hell. I look forward to every segment with him. I've been saying for ages that Liv Morgan really doesn't have much that I find compelling. Now I can't wait to see what she's going to do with this Judgment Day stuff. So it's whatever that is. Yes, what you're saying, the ability to craft these characters, but it's also finding the stories for them that unlocks them beyond being just a gimmick. And I think that's something that clearly is not, it's not something that Vince McMahon had for the last, I don't know, couple decades, years, to be honest with you, but certainly for the past 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So that's what it's going to be for me. It's just their ability to craft compelling television now.
Your favorite thing about the AEW product? What's one good thing you like about it?
I like, I'll be honest with you, Jack Perry. I like the scapegoat mobile. I think he's a good promo these days. He actually feels like a fairly compelling character. When I see him on the TV, I'm like, oh shit, what's he gonna do now?
Favorite thing about AEW right now is probably still Swerve. I really like Swerve's work. He's trying.
Dude, he's trying. He's trying. It is so you can tell that guy from his social media activity to the way he carries himself on television. He's in a company that almost doesn't deserve him, because the work that he's putting in, I feel like it's not going to ultimately be rewarded because of how Tony Khan cycles through his favorites. And I hope to God I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Hope so.
Because the dude puts in really good work.
All right, least favorite thing about WB.
Oh shit! Probably how they did like the tag division. It's like kind of unwatchable. Like it's boring. Like they don't do anything with it.
Anything interesting with the tag division?
Like Miz and Truth, they've had some good segments as comedic guys, and like Waller in Theory, maybe there's that seed of like, you know, they're gonna do something with them. But even that is like just teasing a singles, like a breakup.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they've completely lost focus on the tag division.
I'd say the inconsistency with which they've booked the women's division. Sometimes they dedicate time and energy, and it's good. There's good stuff, and then sometimes there's a short match and maybe a segment. You know, It's still pretty inconsistent. I wish there was more consistent attention put to the women's division.
Yeah.
Oh, least favorite thing about AEW project, fucking learning tree right now.
I'll be completely honest with you, man. I love that you got all that shit out. I chuckled a couple times at Chris Jericho.
Oh, how dare you!
Sometimes a fart's still funny to me.
I feel like I don't even know you anymore. You like the DIY theme? You're laughing at the learning tree stuff?
I know, right? Well, we're all human. We all change, Larson. I'm not saying I want it on my TV necessarily, but some of his line deliveries kind of made me chuckle. What I'll be honest with you, the thing that I like least right now about AEW is just the shit that bores me. And I gotta say, the CMLL stuff bores the living shit out of me. Volador Jr. and the other guys, Hechicero and this guy and that guy. And I'm like, I don't know anything about these guys. It's just, and it's not even like, oh, well, Google it. There's like a million of them. I got to Google all these guys. I got to put in so much extra. It's one thing when it's like, oh man, this huge new debut and he's going to be pushed. Okay. What has this guy done before? I can Google some like highlights, but I got to Google an entire company.
Yeah.
And so they show up. Yeah. And so they show up and they have these matches that are like good, but there's nothing that I haven't really seen before. It's not like I'm watching RVD in his prime show up and I'm like, oh my God, this is outstanding.
There's a couple things Hechicero does. I'm like, wow, I've never seen that before.
I mean, maybe it's just when I rest my eyes on it that he does that. I don't know. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm just V Joe says anything Blackpool Combat Club or CMLL makes me start looking at my phone in boredom. Like, I shouldn't have that desire. Like, I try not to because like I'm supposed to review this stuff.
Yeah.
But God, the desire is there to pick up my phone because I'm like, I just don't. And it's been like ongoing, like every single episode of something. It's like, oh, okay, they're doing another one of these. What's the configuration now? Who are these guys? I see some of these guys that I've seen before, but some of these other guys I don't think I've seen before. Maybe I have, or maybe they're on Rampage. I don't know.
Don't know. This is a great question here from Payday. If you were both great wrestlers but only did 6 moves, what would those moves be? You get 6 moves. What are they?
Chop. A chop goes a long way.
Oh yeah.
Chop. I do a chop. I do a DDT, but make sure it's like a spike DDT. You know, where the dude has to, plant himself.
Yeah.
Do that. I do a power bomb.
Yeah, those are good.
I do a power bomb. I would do. For sure. I do a Cody cutter. Those things look great. Yeah, those are awesome. Look, I'm not saying I can do any of these things. I'm just saying if I could wrestle, I would do a Cody Cutter.
What about a pump kick, Steve?
Oh, I love a good pump kick. Thank you for that one. The assist on that. That's good. And then my finish, I would do my own. It's just the end of days, but I would call it my own thing.
Yeah.
Sad last days.
Sad last days. Chops.
Yeah.
Super kick.
You would do a super kick, really?
Yeah, my favorite wrestlers ever is Shawn Michaels.
Heck yeah. Man, I know, but so many people do the super kick these days, dude.
Running knee. A good running knee is hard to beat.
I love the running knee.
You're going to hate this one. Quad kicks. Love
is it just because you know I hate them? You're just doing it to spite me.
I love quad kicks.
They're awful.
They're great.
They're so stupid.
Power bomb.
Yeah, power bomb's great.
Package pile driver.
Yeah, would that be your finish?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be your finish.
Off the top rope.
Negotiations with. Oh wow, that'd be crazy. That'd be awesome. Yeah, that's a good one. Super kick, really. I think that's the only weakness right there. Otherwise, you're solid. You're on solid.
Oh, you have no problem with the quad kicks. I'm surprised.
Oh yeah, I erased that from my memory. Yeah, that's terrible. Why don't you do some machine gun chops while you're at it?
Well, I mean, chops are part of the arsenal.
Fast chops. Those are so bad.
Oh, they're great.
This is stupid. Oh, you know what? No, hold on. I'd get rid of one of mine and I'd do the Tongaloa thing.
Oh. Alex Foster here says, apparently on Chicago Med, there's a character named Alex Foster.
Oh, cool.
What TV show would you like a character named Steve here and Ann Larson? What Star Trek property would you want a character named Steve here, Steve?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Man, Deep Space Nine's probably Deep Space Nine. I'd be just like hanging out on the promenade. Lieutenant Steve. Lieutenant here. What are you doing? I don't know. I was been in a holodeck all day. Don't go in there. It's very slippery.
Don't go in there. Send janitorial down their stat.
You know, there's this great sequence in Star Trek Discovery when this admiral is having these like negotiations with this like really villainous, like, you know, whatever character, but they've got sort of Starfleet's, you know, balls in a vice, and they lay out a little platter of food, and the person starts eating, the bad guy starts eating the food, and the admiral says, is it delicious, huh? He's like, oh yeah, this is really good. It's our shit. He's like, that's how we operate with our matter, you know, whatever conversion energy thing, you know, because that's like everybody knows, like, yeah, it's just matter that goes into like their thing, and they just turn it into the stuff of the replicator.
Yeah, that's how the replicator works. Yeah.
I just love that they finally addressed that. He's like, oh yeah, it's made of our shit, you know.
That's right. I want a character named Ann Larson in Succession.
Oh yeah. What would be your role? Like, what's your deal?
Oh, I don't know.
Angel investor, media mogul, a rival media mogul.
Yeah, that.
Okay, or like not like a news producer of some sort.
No, mogul.
Mogul. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say Deadwood.
And Larson's the new mogul. How about that?
I was gonna say Deadwood, but then I realized there was a Steve on Deadwood. His name was Racist Steve. That's what they called him on the show. He was terrible.
He was terrible.
Here we go. I got to get one of mine in. John and Alistair voice says, if you guys had to recreate the fantastic moment of Samoa Joe backing Heyman into a corner, who would play who? I don't know how they do that without laughing.
I know.
Because if you got in my face and started trying to threaten me like that, or vice versa.
Oh, yeah.
We would
both sell it all. No.
I'd be trying so hard not to laugh.
Yeah.
I would be like I would be cracking up.
Yeah. Nick Kyle asks, what year would be the ideal time for Will Ospreay to be AEW World Champion? Late August 2025.
That's exactly right. Wembley 2025.
Oh, great question from Timor. What films do you show Charlie Dempsey to improve his knowledge of films? First, I want to know, what are you actually trying to accomplish? What are you trying to do here, Charlie Dempsey? Are you trying to learn about Tony D's family by watching mob movies? If so, here you go.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because based on what we saw on NXT this week, that's not what he's referencing.
Mm-hmm.
You talking to me, that's from Taxi Driver.
Not a mob movie.
Not a mob movie.
Yeah.
I'm Walking Here. It's from Midnight Cowboy.
Yeah, Ratso Rizzo.
Not a mob movie.
Which is honestly not one of the more highly talked about movies in film discourse in general. I mean, that scene right there is often parodied, but like Midnight Cowboy, it's not really talked about that often. I haven't noticed anyways.
You know, when we were in film school, I saw a bit
back then. Yeah. But in terms of
one
like
Best Picture in 1968 or whatever year it came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not one that's typically talked about a whole lot. As far as what films, it's Godfather, Goodfellas.
Like if he really wants to know about mob movies,
Donnie Brasco.
I'm trying to figure out because Tony D is such a lower level guy, so Donnie Brasco would be a good one. Like maybe even if he wants to stick with Scorsese, Mean Streets.
Yeah.
More just low level street crime.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do something. Says, will this Trent Statlander Willow Orange feud lead to intergender tag titles? I think Tony Khan has said that he wants
something about mixed tag titles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Juarez says, do you think we're going to get Brian? Oh, we talked about this. Bryan versus Ospreay 2 at Wembley. Hope not.
David Matuszek says, with the NHL and WWE having a partnership for custom belts, which team do you think you should get? To shout out the Enforcer, I'd get a Vegas Knights one. But what did you see the Stanley Cup title?
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
It's all right.
It's just got the Stanley Cup on it.
Yeah, it's just title belt with Stanley Cup on it.
Right. Like I don't
Who's
feel
a fan? Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Who's a fan of the Stanley Cup?
I don't know.
Like, who would be such a fan of the Stanley Cup? They'd get a WWE title with just the Stanley Cup on it, as opposed to the team they like.
Like, I'm a big NBA fan. That's like my sport of choice.
You wouldn't get a title belt with the Larry O'Brien trophy on it. No.
No, I wouldn't. No, it's kind of weird.
That's the first thing that crossed my mind is who is this title for?
There's also a different culture around the Stanley Cup, though.
Obviously, yeah.
It's taken on more of a personality of its own, as opposed to the Larry O'Brien trophy, or
but still
Super Bowl rings, I guess.
Well, I mean, there's a trophy for the Super Bowl. I don't know if they still name it after Pete Rozelle, but that's.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah.
Jimmy Thomas says, with Meltzer reporting that that AAA and CMML wrestlers will be able to work Forbidden Door, who should the Lucha Brothers face from New Japan?
House of Torture.
You want one of Penta's maybe last matches in AEW to be against House of Torture?
Yeah.
What two members of House of Torture?
Evil and probably Dick Togo.
All right.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
What about you?
I mean, a good answer would be Bullet Club War Dogs.
Yeah. Not as good as House of Torture, though. They literally have a House of Torture rule in their 10 points plan.
I know.
It's pretty great.
People are so annoyed by House of Torture now.
Oh, right. That's not great. Let's see here. Christian Sharp says, which AEW talent do you think will be the next one to jump to WWE?
Ricky Starks.
How does he do it? What does he do with this arm over here?
Face.
What does he do with the other arm? His face. What does he do with his arm? His
kind
other
of
one.
puts it out almost like a Heisman pose.
Right?
Kind of like a Heisman pose almost.
Goes like this. Checks his breath.
And yeah, I don't know. Steve Klain says, do you feel like Mark Briscoe was going to talk through the TV during Jack Perry's promo? It'd be funny if Mark Briscoe turned the TV and started responding to what Jack Perry was saying.
That would be pretty funny.
Like, oh, the universe has spoken, huh? Nah.
Let's see here. Art Guy says, who are the next two wrestlers to destroy the ring via superplex in WWE? Like Brock, Mark, and Braun, and Big Show. Braun again, but this time with Odyssey Jones.
Did Moss and Braun?
Didn't they break something?
Don't remember. Have a Moss superplex Braun and that break the ring.
Yeah.
Give him off a moment like that.
Rob says Ricochet and JD McDonough. There you go. Perfect. I'm out of questions over here.
Same.
All right. Well, anyways, that's going to do it for the show today. I think we're going to record a count out later on today, so we'll do a premiere for that tomorrow. I think, right? Isn't that the plan?
Sure, yeah, we can do that.
Cool. And so, yeah, that's going to do it for us live anyways. But we'll be back taped tomorrow. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll see you around.
Goodbye.
Oh, man.